Good evening and welcome to tonight's Hearthstone Half Hour. I'm Hammy, this is Failcraft Cast, and it is great to see you this Tuesday evening. What have we been up to? Well, since last Wednesday or Thursday it has been hectic. For those of you Blizzard fans out there, you may have seen that it is Diablo Reaper of Souls time. You can get out there, you can start playing Crusader, and last night we went to the launch event in London. There was some of the Blizzard European team there. It was fantastic, got to meet lots of people, have a quick drink, see some Diablo, watch some stream and have a really good time watching the DreamHack stream there. So that was a really good time at Meltdown in London. If you're ever in London, whether you be from the UK or anywhere, a great esports bar, go to Meltdown London. You can find them at Meltdown London on Twitter and go and check them out. So without further ado, thanks for your patience. We are straight back today into, you can see a nice shiny new slate. We are revamping the site, doing some more imagery and all kinds of stuff. So let us know what you think. Just trying to learn the place up a bit and freshen it up a little. Today we are jumping into Arena Tuesday. Because it is Tuesday, we are going to be continuing the Paladin deck that we drafted late last week. So let's just have a quick look at what we were trying to do. We were trying to grab some Murlocs, build up lots of small minions and have some good trades. We have a deck, as you can see, with 1 and 2 mana very early on in the curve, so we're really aiming to get out there swinging early on, do some damage and have some fun in that kind of area. You can see we've got the Murlocs, we've got Celsi Deckhand, some Holy Lights, lots of strong core cards and Marnie Berserkers, really to slam into our opponent in the early turns for not too much mana and buff up our minions as well. As it gets into the mid game, we've still got some good solid core cards, lots of stuff that triggers off of Enrage, some card draw, and then hopefully into the late game we've got a few finishes there, although they are sort of very vanilla kind of 5, 6 and 7 mana cards, so we will just have to see how that goes. Let's jump on in. What is going on this week? Well, we are very much looking forward to jumping into Heroes of the Storm. Hopefully at some time it is going to be coming in, and the beta will be open, the technical alpha will be open. Really love to get stuck into that. Going to play some Diablo, and welcome to you guys who are joining us live on the stream. It's fabulous to have you here, and just remember, log in, say hello, and above all else, give us a shout if you've got any questions. You can find us in the Twitch chat and similar.
I will fight with honor.
And we go in, we are playing a rogue in our first game here. What have we got? We have a few options. The Sunfury Protector, I'm going to trade up and see if I can get myself a lower mana starting hand. And it's all gone all so badly. I probably should have stuck rather than twisted. Let's see what our rogue's got. I'm tapping on the table and doing naught, although the Argent Protector is not who I want to summon. In terms of trying to draft this deck, we went for the sort of 2-3 mana. We can see a swarm already. The Murloc is out from our compadre over there. We were really trying to go for a low mana kind of deck, and in that low mana deck really get some stuff out on the board really early on, heap some pressure on, and then make sure that coming into the mid game we had some good options in terms of cards that added taunts and tanks, cards that will buff our cards, all of the good Paladin buffs, all of the blessings and things, and give us some control as well. So it's not full on swarm, it does have some late game options, but a lot of the cards are weighted around the 1-2-3 mana area. Come on opponent. Hero Rico! Is he Italian? Is she Italian? We just don't know. But whatever they're doing, they don't have loads of options, given that they have no mana and no cards. Oh, there we go. Turn ended. Card drawn. And you know what? I'm just going to draw on up. If he really wants to trade with me, he can. But I think he's just going to, or she is just going to slam straight on into my hero and take that 2 damage. So obviously with a Paladin, just while we're waiting for our opponent to play, that is a very easy option for him to take out my minion. Paladin, of course, we can always be summoning our 1/1s every single go, meaning that we have stuff that can buff. However, if we're playing against someone with a weapon, they can of course pick that off equally easily. So, problems to be had there. With a bit of charge, I'm actually just going to try and keep the board under some control. I, of course, have got some heals in my pocket. I know the rogue will not really have heals unless he's got some splendid neutral minions that will do that job for him. So, as a result, I want to try and keep some control down. The stealth is annoying. I'm going to get 1 damage from that wicked knife that comes into my 4th turn. So I could do some razzmatazz of giving various minions a divine shield. I've got nothing to taunt up. I want to save the deal 3 damage and draw a card to pick off that panther. I do have a heal in hand. I'm feeling good, so I really just want to advance whatever my strategy is at this point in time. The Hammer of Wraths I drafted and will give me that nice element of control. I can zap away at this jungle panther, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to set myself up either for minions to buff or to do some trades. A bit of a funny one, you might think. Why am I shielding that minion? Well, he can trade if he wants to. I have a feeling that if he wants to break the stealth on that jungle panther, he'd probably want to do the maximum amount of damage to the most prime target. And yes, we see him swing on in, do the damage to my hero. So full on mana here. Our rogue has got options. He's got quite a few health on me. I've obviously got that Holy Light just for the 2 mana. That's going to heal me right up. So I'm not really too concerned with this arena at this point in time. Even though he's taken a few early swings at me, he's got my health down. I did go first. He has had his coin that he can still play, so he can still... Oh, he can slam into me with that as well. Nope, he's just going for a straight trade and removing it from the table. Coining in for another 2 mana card. What is he going to drop? Dagger Mastery gets picked out, and he is really, as you can see with his attacks, just rushing straight on into my hero. I do have the heals. I have to keep an eye on it, but I do have those heals, so I'm not massively concerned at this point in time, I would say. I've got a nice little combo I can come into here. I can just draw a card, and there's the Guardian of Kings, so in the late game I can get some more heals on, and then actually I've got a nice little simple buff here where I can just Blessing of Might, swing on in, and immediately start laying some pressure down on the enemy hero. Now, because I obviously bubbled up with my Argent Protector earlier, I will get a few more swings off with a Silverhand Recruit, unless he's got a removal or control spell. There we go. He eats the 4 damage, and I would then expect some kind of control spell out of his hand that will then remove this minion. You can just see there, you can always see in Hearthstone, of course, when your opponent is just flicking through their cards and wondering what it is they want to play. And equally, they can see the Golden Boundary. There's the Voodoo Doctor, 2 health restored. There's the dagger. He can then use that dagger if he really wants to swing and remove that minion. He's decided not to. Very interesting. And he had quite a few mana left. So it looks as though he's either got high mana options or he's struggling a little bit. Yeah, I'm feeling as though I'm in quite a nice position. I can push on a little bit further. The 2 options I have, I've got an option of dropping an Argent Protector, bubbling up my minion, giving adjacent minions 1-on-1 taunt would be very evil, and I could then put some good pressure in on this rogue. So I think I'm actually going to do that. The Voodoo Doctor could be a concern, but if I tank up 2 of my minions, I should feel pretty decent about that. So let's bubble up. Step 1. Step 2, let's drop that oh so solid core minion, the Defender of Argus, even though when he was patched his attack was dropped down by 1, just even for that 4 health, the double taunt effect, the 1/1 on each of those minions, you really create some very threatening and ominous minions there. So I am now going to push some of my Prince Medicine back into his face, or something similar. It's been a long day. A little bit of rubbish spouts out of my mouth, do forgive me. But there we go, so I've got some good pressure on. Betrayal, ooh, and that's a lovely piece of roguing there. He picks off 1, drops me down to 1 health, he can remove that. I think that bugged. There was some kind, I think that bugged. I think that actually bugged to deal its damage to the minions next to it. 5-2, and my minion is still 5-2. If that had actually gone correctly, I think that he should have really picked me off. Yeah, he should have picked me off. It didn't do damage.
I am sorry.
He suffered a bug there. Oh, my opponent must be very, very annoyed by that. I can only feel sympathy for him in that case. Or indeed at her. As things stand, I'm going to swing in and keep the pressure on. And that's quite sad. I'm going to make sure that I actually report that. So, I'm going to submit a bug. Oh, and he's just given up. Absolutely given up. Poor guy. So, a very strange one there. Perhaps a slightly undeserved win, but we'll take what we can get. And I'm just, as you may hear the typing, frantic typing away in the background, just making sure that I am ready to support and submit this bug. Bit of a funny one, but of course if you do see bugs like this, you should always go on the Hearthstone forum, submit the bug, and make sure that the guys at Blizzard can take a look at trying to fix it. Come on, Photoshop, keep going. Bug, right, I've saved that, okay. Lovely. So, let us dive straight back into this game. We have a Shaman as our opponent, so someone who might be rushing and slamming on into us in that kind of way. Last turn, of course, we did see that I traded for a much more expensive hand, which was bad. Here, I've got a really nice starting hand. I've got my minion, Argent Protector for the Divine Shield. I've got an Armani Berserker I can do a bit of damage to. Remember, I've got the coin as well, so I could even drop my Armani Berserker on turn 1. Turn 1! Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go with that and be very happy. We'll see what our Shaman is doing. Shamans, of course, in the arena can do some very cheap, effective swarm tactics. They can pull out things like Murlocs, lots of cheap minions, all of that kind of jazz. So I'm actually just going to coin straight on in to my Armani Berserker and get this game going nice and fast. If he really decides to attack me, he's going to power me up. Power me painful as well, and of course I do have some healing available. Oh, and he can just come and take that threat straight off the table. He does so, and the Flame Tongue Totem is down, of course giving adjacent minions to attack. If you get swarms going with those small and nasty Murlocs, that can be pretty painful. Turn 2 for me, and we have, whenever a minion attacks, draw a card. Well, I don't got no minions, I don't want to be bubbling up, so let's just get that minion on in there and get going. Cheap little summon. Of course I've got that Blessing of Might that I can swing into. That combination that we saw in the first game. I can get a 4-1 Silver Hand Recruit, Divine Shield him and start him swinging on in. But the very presence of that Flame Tongue Totem with a Shaman makes me think, is he going to be a swarming? Oh, and at the end of that turn he's going to get another random 1 attack and his minions are going to be powered up in a hurry. So what do I want to do? I have a nice option. I can just pick off that minion before it does any more damage. I'm just going to deal 3 damage and draw a card. I think Hammer of Wrath, though, is 4 mana. I can't do anything with it right now. So, options, giving a minion 3 attack. I can pick this off, which is probably a good plan. The bubble will mean that it survives to fight another day, so I'm going to go for that. Drop that in there. And let's remove, without further ado, this rather nasty minion from the battlefield. So a straight up trade there. Of course he can, with his newly 1 buffed thing, take out my dangerous... Oh, there goes the Overload. Overload 2, of course. Do remember the Shane's Overload mechanic means that they are going to be mana down next turn, so they get the benefit of a powerful spell, but the problem of not being able to do anything a turn after. I am just going to take this opportunity to clear that totem off the table and pick up another card into the bargain. And of course you can see, if you look at our opponent's mana up there, he's only got 3 out of 5. So when you're playing Shaman, just remember the effect of that Overload. If they're playing cards that have Overload, as the Lightning Storm did, then you have X less mana next turn. So that effectively gives you, if you're playing against a Shaman, a little bit of a chance to catch up.
Put this apple on your head.
The Knife Juggler goes down, and that again, when you see a Knife Juggler, it's a very solid core card, but of course, Knife Juggler to me, because of that ability, if you summon a minion, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Of course, the more minions you summon, the more damage the Knife Juggler is doing. How do you summon lots of minions? Have lots of cheap ones. What are cheap minions? Rushy minions, things like Murlocs and all of those kind of things. So that's what a Knife Juggler could say to me. We can't overanalyze it, but that could be an issue. I now have some time to, pick a few options here. I don't need to heal. The Murloc Raider will let me basically threaten the Knife Juggler. I can pick him off one way or another, or pick out my Silver Hand Recruit. So for the 1 mana, I'm going to swing into that, and then I'm actually going to Blessing of Wisdom on my Tauren Warrior. So if I do attack, then I'll draw a card. I could have saved that Blessing of Wisdom for a bigger minion, maybe something that would attack more guaranteed, but effectively, there you go, the battle cry comes on in, a nasty Fire Elemental out, we're on turn 6 now, and of course the summon does the 1 damage that picks off my Murloc, so that is not good at all. However, I do have some options. I can freeze, so if I fight fire with ice and freeze them down, then that might be a good plan. I'm going to do that to disrupt him for a turn and consider my options. Unless he's got a spell, of course, that can just remove my Frost Elemental totally off the table, then I've got 1 turn where I'm going to be able to think as to how I can cope. What have we got in the pocket? Well, we've got the Frostwolf Warlord, but of course that's better for all the minions I have on the table, and I've only got 1. Giving a minion Taunt, well, it will help me, but I'm probably going to trade this Frost Elemental for that Fire Elemental next go. There goes the Flame Tongue, and the 5 damage actually means he can trade the Knife Juggler straight for my Frost Elemental now, and that means that he will still have his rather dangerous Fire Elemental on the table. This is where it is going to get a tad problematic for me. I do have the heal, that's fine. To be able to put up 2 taunting minions, can I do that? Not with 7 mana. I could put up 1 there, and whenever a minion died, other minion died, drew a card, so I can't get that Cult Master down. Putting up the Frostwolf Warlord will certainly give me the option of at least preventing 1 turn of the Fire Elemental. It will have deny me some nice attacking powers. But I'm going to stick those up as a wall for this turn. Maybe a little bit trickier than I was anticipating, because he has got out this nasty Fire Elemental, backed up with that very strong Flame Tongue Totem. There goes the Stormwind Knight with charge. He's got 3, he can pick off my tank, and this is very rapidly. Shamans can come out fast as a deck. They can suddenly swarm on you. There goes the Overloaded Axe, and suddenly we are staring down the best part of a lot of damage in the face. It's not good. Ouch! And this is where my Paladin deck does not really have any removal. I can heal myself up, keep myself going, like here, or like that, and then I can Holy Light, keep myself in there. But he has the options. He can probably either just with swinging with his Shamanic Stormforward Axe, he can. Oh, and insult to injury, the 1/1 Stormwind champion, buffing everything up by 1. Very painful. I think this is probably going to be GG, because you can do 5 damage with that. And with 2 damage left to go, do I have any odds of him whatsoever? I don't even think I've got AoE Consecrates. You know what? That can get picked off by any one of those guys. So, if I can... Oh, there's a slight misplay there. I could have sacrificed this and drawn a card. Maybe it would have done something a little bit more exciting. What would I have got? No, Bluegill Warrior. I think we can safely say GG. We'll do an honourable concede. And not because I particularly minded playing to the end of that game, but it just means we can charge straight into a new game a little bit faster. So 1-1. What were the issues in that game? Well, there we got a nice early starting hand. We did have the bit of a challenge of just that Fire Elemental coming out, the buffs with the Flame Tongue Totems. We did try and trade away the Flame Tongue Totems as quickly as we could, but the combination of cards that Shaman dropped down just really caused us some problems. Who is the worthy opponent? Because of course in Hearthstone you never play anything else but a worthy opponent. And we have a 3rd different class in a row. We have a Priest. Interesting, Priest Arena. So we're going to have some control. I do have some good 4 mana cards. I don't need a Holy Light really early in the game. I will keep the Argent Protector, and of course I have the coin. The first True Silver Champion we've seen in this draft. That would have come in useful last game. So the True Silver Champion is really just one of those lovely cards. It really has no downside in my mind. You can riff other minions off it, and there is the example of the South Sea deckhand. It charges when I've got a weapon equipped. You get a 2 heal. The attack and durability is pretty solid. It can be used for some good trades, and that is absolutely what I'll be doing in this game. Just for early pressure, because I don't want to coin just yet, I'm going to get out my deckhand, maybe start putting some pressure on the enemy hero, and of course we've seen the very, very obvious Northshire Priest come out. Priests just love it. Love it, love it, love it. anything that's damaged, you heal as a priest, and you draw cards. In card games, drawing cards is absolutely fabulous. However, with the pain, the priest has actually got ahead. Deckhand, he's healed himself, and he has drawn that card. Anyway, so he's thrown himself on the rocks in my deckhand and sat in the same position. I should have really thought that one through. Not going to lie. Sure. What are our options here? Well, we can whip out a sort of a 3 mana job. The Bluegill Warrior into a 3 attack minion. I'm just going to get that priest off the table before it's even begun. Tasty, refreshing orange juice on this very thirsty Tuesday evening. Down goes the Loot Hoarder, a real solid spine card as we've discussed before. Particularly in Arena, these really solid cards, if they come up in Constructed, 2 mana, draw a card, couple of damage, absolutely fabulous. There is nothing not to like about that card. Oh really? That is all I can do this go. I'm not going to Blessing of Wisdom because I want to be able to attack and at least draw another card. That would be rather nice. He's got the option of sacrificing his Loot Hoarder, but I think he'll probably take the opportunity to do a couple of damage to me. Down goes the Oasis Snapjaw. If of course he's got a card like Sun Fury Protector that turns that into a tank, then suddenly it's a very mana efficient tank, loads of health, and particularly when removal is a little bit scarcer in formats like this, it can be difficult, oh so difficult, to remove these kind of things from the table. Let us drop on in and okay, let's get that down. Let's maybe shield up on Murloc. Let's get some of the damage on the table, and a Divine Shielded Murloc charging on in like the warrior boss that he is, doing some damage, and finally we get some little bit of pressure on the priest. Now I do have to keep an eye on this Oasis Snapjaw. The Shadow Word Pain, should have expected that from a priest. 2 mana removal of a minion with 3 or less attack. And a trade down, a Divine Shield, another very solid minion that just trades off the table and keeps some pressure on. I've got some options, and with those options I think I'm going to focus on getting minions off the table, I think.
For justice.
No, I changed my mind. I'm actually just going to focus on the enemy hero. This may be not the wisest move, but we shall have to see what happens. Oh, Temple Enforcer. 3 health to the friendly minion. And of course that giving of health is just a buff, a straight up buff. That suddenly makes that Scarlet Crusader rather dangerous. I need some removal, and I need it fast. So, I can pick off... really, I think I'm probably going to want to pick off the most dangerous minion first. This will cause me a bit of pain. Then I can zap it down with this. And draw another card, and that's good. I'm into the Defender of Argus territory. Now, at least what Argus will let me do on the next turn is I can drop my Cloud of Pain, drop my Argus, and then start tanking up my board, which will be good. I need to have a bit of slowdown because I don't have a direct removal against that Crusader. I wanted to bite the damage from the bigger minion so that I could at least minimise. Oh, and mind control of my 1/1. Now our fellow priest actually has a rather nasty board down, and this is where the lack of AoE in my deck could really be causing me a little bit of pain and suffering. Our Tauren Warrior friend already has Taunt, Enrage in 3. I could drop something where if he takes damage, draw a card. If another minion dies, draw a card. I just need to put up some cannon fodder, as much cannon fodder as possible. There's no way that I can get out the Argus without anything other than 1 card. So, if my other minions die, draw a card. If this minion takes damage, draw a card. Let's go for the Acolyte of Pain, and let's tank up. This may be a bit of a hiding to nothing, of course. See that our opponent Lucky here has been indeed lucky. He's got out a whole bunch of strong minions here, and I've just not had the control to keep him down. There could have been a slight misplay. Picking off this Snapjaw wouldn't have done much, but I think maybe focusing this Crusader and another Mind Control thanks. 2 Kyle Shadow Priests in a draft. That is frustrating. And he's got my tank as well. I think we can safely say that this game is probably not going anywhere. I can heal. I put 6 on me to 15, but he's got 2, 6, 7, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I can tank. He'll have to put that down. He can still do 15. Yeah, I think that we are done here. Concede. 2 mind controls. You can see that, you know, cards that maybe might not quite make the cut, like that kind of particular mind control in a constructed deck. When it comes to Arena, and you sometimes have a lot less options, really come into their own. 2 mind controls in a row yanked just any chance I had of getting back in the game out from underneath me. So a very nice draft by our priest friend there. And it could be that this Hearthstone half hour is actually just going to be a literally half-hour Arena run. Everything done. Colin RXW, come on. It is not over until it's over. And let's swing on in and see what we can do here. First go. Right, I don't need a holy light. I'm going to trade the lot in. And let's roll the dice for some low minion cards. There are so many of them in this deck. Well, at least we've got a couple. Perhaps not the best couple, but still a couple. Shielding the shield, which is shielding the shield. And that, our friends, is meta.
Job's done.
Tap on the table. Colin RXW, it is your move. So, as we sort of wrap up, you know, maybe in the next 10 minutes or so, whenever this game is done, in terms of the 3 games we've had 3 different classes, so a nice mixture of things to play against. We've had the deck come out occasionally, but in terms of our build, our focus on the lower cards, which were more sort of buffy cards, was probably a bit of a mistake. We really probably, next time, if we were going with a Paladin aggro deck, go for some lower mana cost cards, but stuff that can attack a lot more, so we can really get the swarm up moving a little bit faster. For Desmond Tutu, I'm just going to drop my South deck and see if he fancies a trade. Does he want to get rid of his tank, or is he going to let me do it for him? One damage down to us, and that healing totem is healing its heals of heal. Bubbling up. Bubbling up. I'm going to bubble up. Do you like the Argent Protector? Because it lets nifty little trading plays like this happen. You can keep minions on the deck and just take that 1 minion lead, which occasionally can be all you need. All you need just to get things moving.
Tazdingo! Yes!
There goes the Tazdingo! The minion, when you are first playing your tutorial games in Hearthstone, you love so much. That's Sinjin Shieldmaster. He saved me in many a fraught battle against the AI, battling away against the computer, and he very much helped us go victorious. It was a beautiful day. Okay, so with 4, we can taunt up, we could swing in, we could 3 attack into 1 and trade both things off the table. A few different options there. I think let's go with the sacrificial lamb option.
This is my responsibility.
This is my responsibility, says the Argent Protector. Let's drop one of my friendly little silver hands onto the table as well. Silver hand recruit. But of course in hand I have 2 tanking options. 1-1 in taunt, or just a straight up taunt. So nice and happy in both. Tappy in the chat, and our Stormer Knight is charged in. He's just gone straight into my Argent Protector. How rude. He did nothing wrong. Swinging on in. Let's pick him off, draw the card, stick a pressure on. In that case, I'm just really happy with that trade. Although the Stormer Knight doesn't do much similar, taking a bit of damage, but just happy to take that extra card draw. Silverhand Knight. And a Squire as well. So the Shaman really, he's not really been rushing us too hard at this point in time. However, I do just want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get rid of that Silverhand Knight, because it will be a little bit of a threat little bit of a threat. So I've got to trade whatever happens there, so I'm just going to stick one more damage on. If he really wants to pick off my Lord of the Arena, he's going to have to do it with spell power, or sacrifice both of his minions in an attempt to do so with what he has right now. There goes the Flame Tongue, so he can certainly just go straight in for that trade. And in comes the Stoneclaw as well. Totemic Might. That means I'm going to have to swing to get through that Stoneclaw. And then if he chooses to, he can Silverhand Knight into my Lord of the Arena. Oh, and an Ancestral Spirit, so he can trade away my Lord of the Arena and come back to life. That is frustrating, but a very good play by Colin RXW there. He's cleared my side of the board. And we've seen with this deck, the problem that I'm having is when my side of the board is very simply cleared, there is not much I can really do to get firmly back into the match. The nice thing here that I can do though is that because I've been able to Silverhand as well, I can then Sun Fury in and create a couple of cheeky tanks. So if he does want to sacrifice and cut a swathe through my side of the board on this turn, he's going to have to pay for it. I'm going to make him pay for it, because that, to be quite blunt, is what is keeping me in the game. Oh, it's all flown onto the deck while I've been typing away. Faceless Manipulator has just grabbed another one. He's tanked up as well, a total copy. Bluegill Warrior is making the trading plays. And suddenly he's got a nicely buffed Squire as well, just to add insult to injury. It's still by no means lost. I've got the heals in the bag that I can use to make this happen. I can Defender of Argus in and put up another set of wolves, which is in fact, I think, in a very nasty way what I'm going to do. Let's just have a think. The Berserker could be an interesting one. If he's not killed outright, he could be buffed up quite nicely. In fact, he will be brought to 3 and 4, so they'd have to knock him out in 1. The Sunfury Protector would possibly pick something off that was a threat to me. The Frostwolf Warlord equally would still pick something off, or just possibly survive by 1. Okay, let's give that a go then. I'm going to Frostwolf in, and then Defender of... Oh, I did a massive miscalculation. I thought I had more mana than I did. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
It's time for a little blood.
How embarrassing for me. So I'm actually going to sacrifice, just in case he decides to swing in, then he will do some damage.
They'll never know what hit them.
Massive swings incoming, all of those minions on the deck, 2 more, we've even got the add insult to injury. The Nightblade, the starter's card, but of course this is Arena, so anything can go. And what can I do? Well, I've got the heals, I can get myself back in a bit. I need to get through some of these totems to do some damage. I can trigger my Amoni Berserker. I know he will die. Oh. Whenever a minion dies, give him 1 attack. Ooh, it's going to be nasty. Slowly picking things off the table. I can create a couple of tanks with my Argus, but then that will force him to swing into me. It will give me a few turns to heal and get the board next go. Picking that off will mean that I can pick him off next go with my hero. A solid option. I think I'm going to go for that. Let's get that in there. I'm going to take the short-term pain. Now I can also throw myself into a heal, or I can tank up. 2 options. It's time to choose. If he can get through, he almost could knock me out next go. He will probably swing through the tank and do some damage. I'm going to go for it. See what he does. I mean, he'll have to trade away at least one of those minions unless he's got something in his hand. That is, of course, very possible. Down goes another taunting minion from the...
My eyes are open.
And a very rapid swing and go. The Nightblade, we saw there, swung into my Warlord, remove the tank, and they've got some good pressure on the table. Still, the heal goes on his hero. He's running out of card options there. He's now living hand to mouth. But the real question is, can I somehow swing in and keep the pressure on in a way that is going to... Well, I can remove his tank off the table, I can freeze one of his other minions, and I can heal myself all in one turn. So that actually feels pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So first step, let's remove the tanking minion. Second step, let's freeze the one minion that will be of trouble. Third step, let's heal myself for 6. And then I do have that last option, and really what's been causing me trouble has been this flame tongue, but I just can't quite pick it off. Which is very, very frustrating. That totemic might he played at the beginning has really been causing me some pain. So I'm going to lay for the extra heal, just in case I get a removal spell, to try and get that flame tongue off this land. Swing in, there goes my poor elemental, the fire elemental being summoned in again against a shaman deck, really giving me some problems, and I think that this is probably going to be a fair old knock on the table, but you know what, let's go in the spirit of things, chuck it down there and see what happens. So as we get to the end of this, and the end of this very short and sweet arena run, our deck really tried to probably do a little bit too much. It did have the good sort of central thing that we tried to draft to, of trying to have lots of cheap minions to start swarming with and putting pressure on, and supporting those with buffs. What we've actually found is that a lot of the cheap minions we actually picked, although they're solid spine cards, really they were not going to flourish on their own. For arena we should probably go for harder hitting early cards to keep those trades going. Goodbye to this arena run, and that is very quick and ugly. One winner, very bronzy, woodest of the wood, paperist of the paper league arena keys. At least I get my one pack. So let's go and have an open of this pack, and then we'll finish up this Hearthstone half hour. So fingers crossed for Leroy Jenkins. Fingers crossed for Leroy Jenkins. What do we have? We have nothing very obviously glowy. One of those. A rare monotide. Okay, that's quite nice. Ice Barrier, Wargod Infiltrator, Leroy Jenkins. Golden Common! Defius Ringleader. That will make my rogue control deck that little bit more primed and pimped. Awesome. So, thank you very, very much, you folks, for tuning in. That is us for tonight's Arena Tuesday. You saw a very, very painful and quick Paladin Arena run. And as we said, we should have probably drafted a few more cheap, hard-hitting early attacking minions. We did the best with what we had, but in retrospect we probably had too many buffy, tanky, taunty cards and not enough just good old-fashioned damage in the early game. So that's it. We are going to be winding back up to 4 nights a week, 4 or 5 nights a week ideally. Tomorrow it's going to be Ladder Wednesday. We're going to dive straight on into the arena, ladder, and go into ranked. We will try something different because there's only a few days left of test season 4. It's not as though I'm going to be hitting legend rank anytime soon, so we're going to use the time before the season resets to explore what's going on in ranked, but with a few different decks. I've been playing a lot of priests, so we will maybe go mage, druid, rogue, something very similar tomorrow. Thursday, tactics again, and Friday we'll have a night off and play something for fun. So thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's Hearthstone half hour. As always, I will quickly sign off with where you can find us. We'd love to hear feedback, anything you think we did well, anything you think we could do better. Please tweet us at FailcraftCasts on Twitter, just like the username but with an S on the end, so at FailcraftCasts. We are on YouTube. You can find our whole archive at youtube.com /FailcraftCasts. And on there you can find loads of Hearthstone half hours. You can get really stuck into all kinds of stuff. We've got League of Legends. We've got other bits and bobs going on as well. StarCraft. We're going to be doing some Diablo and other things too. Lots of fun games as well. So come and, if you want to learn about Hearthstone or just enjoy some Hearthstone with us, go and have a look on YouTube. Please do subscribe and comment. Let us know what you think. Our Twitch, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can tune in live, which is twitch.tv/Felcraftcast without the S on the end. That is live. You can sign up for a free Twitch account, sign up for email notifications whenever we go live, which would be fabulous to see you if you want to join us live. 7:30 to 8 PM GMT, Monday to Friday most of the time. And we do the odd stuff on weekends too, so there's always something going on. Last but not least, the website is felcraft.org. There are all of the videos, blog articles accompanying them, and then some static resources, some written pieces that really work a lot better if you can see them as a blog piece or as a bit of a written article rather than just a video. So deck lists, tips, some theory crafting and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be great to see you. And as a sign off, please, we love to hear feedback, so let us know what we can do better, what we can do more of or less of. Thanks very much for tuning in.